Hello, boys and girls. It's Miss Michelle from the Abu Dhabi Children's Library, and I'm here today to tell you about our exhibit. We have a new exhibit called From Cinderella to Sinbad, and it's tales from Germany and Arabia. And the purpose of the exhibit is to celebrate the ways in which traditional stories were shared between cultures. The stories I'm going to tell you today come from the Arabian Gulf. Some of them you may have heard from your parents or grandparents, and they've been collected in a number of books we have in the library. The first story I'm going to share with you is from a book called Folktales from the Arabian Peninsula, and the name of the story is Put Down the Pumpkin and Pick Me Up. Once upon a time, there was an old woman. She had 2 daughters. Her daughters helped her out on the farm. Her daughter said to her, "Mama, you're going to the market today. We'd really like some pumpkin soup. Can you see if there's some pumpkins for us?" And the old woman said, "Of course, my dears. I will go and sell my crops, and then I'll buy fruits and vegetables and a big round pumpkin, and we'll have pumpkin soup tonight." So the old woman walked into town. It was a hot and dusty day, and she was very tired, but she thought how happy her daughters will be when she brought back the pumpkin and made soup that night. So she went about her shopping in the souk. As she was shopping, she felt a tug on the edge of her abaya. "Who's tugging on my abaya?" she thought, and she looked down, and there was an old man. And he looked at her and he said, "Woman, you look like a nice person. Can you please put down the pumpkin you just bought and pick me up and help me go home?" The woman looked at the man and she said to herself, "I don't know who he is. Why is he asking me to do this? Can't he see that I have a big pumpkin and I have a bag of vegetables? How can I pick him up and get everything home?" But the old man tugged on her sleeve and said in a piteous voice, "I'm old, I'm frail, I really need some help. You have a good heart, woman, take pity on me and help me." Soon there was a crowd watching this, and they said, "Look at that poor old man. Why can't you help him, woman?" She did not know what to do. The old man said, "It's simple. Put down the pumpkin and pick me up." But the woman was stubborn. She took a scarf, tied up the pumpkin, tied it around her, picked up the bag of vegetables, and carried the old man piggyback. And she thought to herself, "What can I do? As old and fragile as he is, he must not live too far away. It won't be a long trip." So she said to the old man, "Where do you live?" And the old man said, "I've seen you before. I don't live too far from you." The old woman said, "I've never seen you before." "Well, I know you. You might not know me, but I know you. Help me." So she carried him. It was hot. It was dusty. The old man, every once in a while, would sigh, or let out a piteous cry, "I'm thirsty." The old woman said to him, "I'm hot, I'm tired, and thirsty too. I need to get you home. What can I do?" The old man said, "Put down the pumpkin and it'll be easier to carry me." The old woman said, "No, no, no. This pumpkin is for my daughter's dinner. I can carry you, the pumpkin, and the vegetables." And that's what she did. As she got closer to her house, she said to the old man, "Where do you live?" "I live nearby," he said. Well, when she got home, her daughters were there. "Mommy, I see you have brought a guest. Are we having pumpkin soup for dinner?" And the mother said, "My dear daughters, get me some water." And she put the old man down. The old man tugged on the sleeve of her abaya, and he said, "Get me some water too." The old woman said, "It's late. I must feed my daughters dinner. When you have this drink of water, can you walk the rest of the way home?" The old man said, No, no, no. I'm tired. I'm old. I'm feeble. I cannot walk another step. I need a nap. Why don't you make dinner and I'll take a nap and then I'll leave? And the old woman said, No, 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 that won't do. There are no men in this house. What will the neighbors think? Well, if you're downstairs and I'm upstairs, no one can say anything. And he refused to leave. So the old woman took him upstairs and he had a nap while she and her daughters made dinner. She heard a cry later on, old woman, come and get me. So she went upstairs and she got the old man and carried him downstairs. And she said, Sir, I have taken you to my house. You've had a nap, you've had some water. It's getting very late and we're about to eat dinner. Would you please go home? And the old man said, I feel much better from having my nap. However, I'm hungry. Please, please make me some dinner. Let me be your guest. Well, what could she say? It is never good to refuse someone in your house food. So he sat down with her and they ate dinner. Now, throughout the dinner, the old woman was very sad. She thought, how am I going to get rid of this man? Every time I wait, he asks for something more. Will he ever leave my house? What is wrong? What is going on here? So after dinner was finished, she said to the old man, the sun has set. It is dark. Me and my daughters are getting ready to go to bed. You must leave. I can't have a man in my house. And the old man said, I'm still too tired. I'll leave in the morning. And the woman looked at him and she said, What are you talking about? This cannot do. The old man said, I have an idea. Listen to me and do exactly what I say. And if you do exactly what I say, I promise you I will leave soon. I want you to take a mattress down here, put it in the majlis, and I will sleep on that. I want you to bring a blanket to cover me and a pillow for my head. So the woman and her daughters brought down a mattress, put it on the ground, brought down a blanket and a pillow for the old man's head. The old man put his head on the pillow and he pulled the blanket up high and he said to the old woman, I'm getting comfy now. In the morning, I promise I will leave. The old woman was not happy, and just as she was about to go upstairs, the man said to her, I have one more request. One more request? In her mind, there was thousands of ideas. What does he want now? Will this be going on all night? Will he leave ever? I'm getting really angry. I have been good about this so far, but there's only so much a woman like me can do. Well, the old man had a strange request. He said, I want you to go to the kitchen and get a stick, and I want you to beat me. Beat you, she said. Why would I want to beat you? Well, I'm going to pull the covers up over my head, and if you beat me very well, I'll have a good night's sleep. The woman had never heard anything this ridiculous, and she was afraid. What if I hurt him? He's so old, he's wobbly. What will happen? But she agreed. So she went to the kitchen and she got a very thin stick that she was going to use to make a fire. She took the stick and she went up to the old man and she went tap, tap, tap. I've hit you. Now can you go to sleep? The old man said, No, this is not right, woman. You never listen to me. I told you to put down the pumpkin. You wouldn't do it, and it took us forever to get home. Every time I ask you to do a simple thing, you argue with me. Why are you being so difficult? I want you to get a bigger stick and hit me. Now, at this point, the old woman had an evil thought. She said, You want me to hit you? I've been patient. I can really hit you now. So she went and got a big stick, and she went beat, 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 and hit him. And after a while, she got so into hitting him, she didn't notice that the blankets went lower and lower and lower. But finally, she heard, a sound of a stick hitting the mattress. And as it hit the mattress, she looked, and the blanket was flat. Where did the old man go? What had happened? She pulled away the blanket, and there was nothing there. The old woman got very scared. What happened? What's going on? Her daughter said, Mama, it's a jinn. Maybe you've angered him. Maybe he'll come back in the morning and punish us. And they were very afraid, and they stayed up all night. The next morning when they woke up, there was no sign of the man anywhere in the house. But out on their door was a jar, and inside the jar was a lot of gold coins. Now, the old woman was very excited to find the coins. However, she didn't want people to know that she had money because she was afraid of robbers. So she thought to herself, I wonder how much gold I have. I can use this gold to make dowries for my daughters when they get married. So she thought, how can I weigh it all? She didn't have a scale, so she went to her neighbor, the miller's wife, and she said, can I borrow your scale? Now, the miller's wife was a very suspicious woman. Why does she need to weigh something? I wonder what she's doing. So the miller's wife had a plan. She took some flour and water and made it into a sticky ball like you're making bread dough. And she put it on the bottom of one of the scales and gave the scale to the woman. The old woman weighed the coins, but she did it in a rush because she was worried someone might come to her door and see what she was doing. She did not notice that one of the coins stuck to the scale, and when she gave the scale back to the miller's wife said, gold. I wonder where a poor old woman like her got that gold. So during the next few weeks, she would befriend the woman's daughters, and one of her daughters told her the story. The miller's wife, being a greedy woman, said, if she can do it, so can I. So off she went. She went to the souk and she looked around and she saw an old man. And rather than wait for him to ask her to help, she went up to him and said, old man, I'm short of time. You look like you need to go home. Hop up on my back and I'll take you. And she didn't ask him anything. And the old man said, put me down, put me down. And she said, listen to me, I know what you want. Listen, you're coming straight to my house. So off she ran, carrying the old man, put him in the house and dropped him down. The old man said, why did you do that? I didn't ask you to do it. Well, now that you're at my house, go upstairs and have a nap. And while you're having a nap, I'm going to make a dinner. The old man looked at her and said, I want to go home. I want to be left alone. No, you will do what I say. So up he went. She cooked dinner. She brought him downstairs, and she said, here's a big bowl of pumpkin soup. It was the biggest bowl anyone had ever seen. Do you know why it was so big, boys and girls? Well, the greedy miller's wife thought, if she, meaning the neighbor next door, got all these gold coins for a little bowl of soup and beating the old man with a stick, what will I get if I have a big, huge bowl of soup and I beat the old man with the biggest stick in the world I can find? Well, the old man tried to eat the soup. It's too much, it's too much. You're not getting off this table till you drink it down, said the miller's wife, and she forced the old man to drink the soup. The old man finally finished the soup, and he said, my stomach hurts, my belly's big. What can I do? The miller's wife said, lay on the bed here, and I'll take care of it. She threw a blanket over his head, and the old man said, I can't see. I can't see. What's going on? And she took the biggest stick she could find. It was this big around, and she started to beat the old man with it. And the old man said, stop, stop, I'm old, I'm fragile, you're killing me. Please have mercy on me, stop. And the old woman just beat him harder and harder and harder until the blanket was flat and the old man had disappeared. That night, the miller's wife was very pleased. "I'm going to get a big reward in the morning." She didn't worry that night. She laughed to herself and dreamed how she was going to spend the money. Well, the very next morning, she got up, and on her doorstep was a big jar. It was bigger than the previous jar that the neighbor had, and when she opened it up, to her surprise, it was full of snakes and scorpions who rushed out and bit her. The moral of the story is one should always be kind to strangers. One should always do what someone asks if you can, but never force yourself upon others. And that's the story, Put Down Your Pumpkin and Pick Me Up.